Okay, let's make a Google form. You're just going to log into your Google Drive and you're going to click New, scroll down to More, and then over to Forms. This is your blank template where it says Untitled Form. You're going to go ahead and click and give this a title. So I'm going to call this Sleep and Student Status Survey. You can give this a short description if necessary. We're going to go ahead and click in Untitled Question. Here is where I'm going to ask the question, are you a student? And multiple choice makes sense for this. So the suggestions are a fast way to add options. So I'm going to click yes, and then I'm going to click no, because those are really the two options that I need. And now on the bottom, where there's a little slider that you can click that to make that question required. Okay, I'm going to click back in my description and then add another question. So that will show up at the top. You can slide these around and adjust the order after you create them using the 4 arrows. So now I want a question where they can type in how many hours they sleep. So I'm going to change this from multiple choice to short answer. And I'm going to ask the question, how many hours per night do you sleep? And I'm going to say on average, so they feel comfortable just kind of giving me a guesstimate. So we don't need to do response validation necessarily, but you can force this to be a number or a custom text. You definitely want it to be required so nobody skips this question. So our survey is looking pretty good. If you want to change the colors and put a image in the header and things like that, or change your font, you can click the color palette to do so. I'm just going to click the eyeball to preview just to make sure that it looks good. Yep, they're both required. All my questions are there. Fantastic. In my settings, this gear here, there's some important things. You can limit to 1 response. That will limit duplicates. That's very important. You can also click to let people see a summary of the charts and responses. Some people are motivated to fill out surveys if they get to see the responses. Clicking on presentation, showing a progress bar helps people go through a longer survey, and a confirmation is just nice. So we're going to say thank you for taking my survey. Okay, so we can save those. We don't need to quiz people on the results. Then we're going to go ahead and give a space for the responses. So here we're developing questions. Now we're going to click on responses, and this green and white icon will create a new spreadsheet. I need somewhere to store my answers, so I'm going to say sleep and students for short, because that's really for me, that's internal. No one else is going to see that. So we're going to go create. Okay, great. And it's going to give me a preview of that spreadsheet. So I'm going to click back on my form, and when I click send, I can either email this to specific people, or if I just want to create a link, I can click on the next icon over from email, which is the link icon, and they'll even go ahead and shorten that if you want to paste that into, say, social media. There are ways to automatically post it to Facebook and Twitter if you have those accounts, but I'm just going to copy and paste. So I'm going to copy that address, open a new window. I'm going to go ahead and paste it. And before I send out this survey to a bunch of people, I'm going to take it and make sure that it works. So let's say, how many hours do I sleep? About 7. And am I a student? Yes, I work full-time and I'm a student. I'm going to hit submit. Fantastic. Here's the link where people can see their previous responses in the forms of numbers and pie charts. Now I go back to my Excel sheet, and you'll see evidence that my form is functioning just fine. So when you go into your Google Drive after you've shared this widely, there we go. So here's my sleep and student status survey if I need to grab that link again, and here are my responses so that I can do my stat crunching. All right, well, good luck with your polls.